In this section, let's learn about resource management within Kubernetes. Sometimes an app might use lots of resources. So when I say resources, I mean CPU and memory. So these are the two most things that our applications do use when we build applications. Now, if we're not careful, then our applications or any app that you build can consume lots of resources, leaving other applications starving for memory or CPU. So basically, if you have one application which has consumed all resources, then you have a bunch of other applications that cannot run because there isn't enough resources within your cluster. Luckily for us, within Kubernetes, we can define the minimum amount of resources that a container needs, and this is the requests. And we can also define the maximum amount of resources that a container can have, and this is a limit. Now, to visualize this, let's take a look at this example in here. So here I've got, let's say that we have a resource, and this is our, let's say, CPU or RAM, right? So for any given container, we can specify the request. So this is the minimum of resources that the application needs, the container running, right? So whether it's the minimum amount of RAM or CPU. We can also define the limit. So this is the maximum usage, right? So let's start with an empty RAM or CPU. Now, if we deploy a container, the container might, for example, just use, let's say, 20% of what it actually requested, right? So even though there is enough capacity or there is enough room for what it has requested, it might decide to use less than the minimum requested. So it can even max out. So let's say that now it's running, very intensive task, and now it's using the minimum requested, but it still has even more, right? So remember, we can define the limit. So the limit right here, so we still have some room. So the container might decide to use the limit in here. Now, if it needs to use more, then it is capped. And this is awesome because if I have other containers that needs resource, they can acquire because we have set the minimum and max resource a container can get.